Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Sam Patel. If you are new here, definitely hit that subscribe button below so that way you can learn more with me as we go on this journey of learning about the customer lifecycle, which is today's discussion. This is one of my favorite topics. This is so important, is how do we develop relationships with our customers? Because if we're losing money, it's because we haven't understood the customer lifecycle. We're gonna be going through 5 ways to not lose money with your customers. Let's get into it. The most successful businesses have mastered the customer lifecycle. Let's go through each of the steps of the customer lifecycle. Step number 1 of the customer lifecycle is digital. Now, everything in regards to digital is how do customers find you? Of course, digitally. What does that encompass? Maybe your website, perhaps your SEO efforts, maybe your social media, maybe your referrals, perhaps your word of mouth. All of these and more are considered the first step of the customer lifecycle. How do they find you? How are they aware of you? How are they coming to you? Now, if this is properly done, if we have a great website, if we have paid properly for SEO and our social media is active, we have good referrals, we have good word of mouth, then we're hoping that customers will do the second step. And the second step is giving you a phone call. Now, the second step of the customer lifecycle is getting phone calls in. Once we get phone calls in, that's when the fun begins, because that is when you get to show off who you are as a business. That falls at the mercy of your receptionist. Your receptionist has to make this phone call very what? Welcoming. If it's welcoming and they are kind and they are inviting, then we're off to a great start. But that's not just it. We also have to be informative because they're calling to ask questions. And it's our job to make sure they get enough information during that phone call because they're excited. They're half of the way there. They found you in the first step. They've made the effort to go to the second step, which is give you a call. They've built up the courage. Now it's our time to shine with welcoming them, being kind, showing off who we are so they get to fall in love with us. And then of course, being inviting and being informative. Once they have built their comfort in step number 2 and your receptionist has done a good job, hopefully they're well trained to do that, we're hoping that the next step occurs. Step 3 of their customer lifecycle is bringing them in. Maybe if you're a service-based industry, we call that a consultation. We bring them in for a consult. We bring them in to talk to them, show off who we are. So it is of course step number 2's job, the receptionist, to do what? Book a consult. And if they book a consult, we have gotten to step number 3. As we get to step number 3, this is really where the magic actually happens. This is where we actually sell the service, sell the product, whatever it is, but we can't sell unless what? We educate. So when they have come in to see us, education is critical. They have to understand what it is you're offering. What products are you offering? Why are they better than the competitors? What services are you offering? So this is where we educate, but we also show off. We have to show off who we are as a business. Why are we better? What makes us unique? What is different about our business than all the other people out there? That is happening during the consultation. So during the consultation, we have to be confident about who we are, the products we have, but also giving that confidence to the customer. This is really where the magic actually happens, because guess what? This is the step that we actually make the money. That is the step that people come in, they have gone through this whole journey so far, and here is where we really shine. Now, most businesses, once they've made the money, they're happy and they call it quits. No, that's actually where the patient or customer lifecycle continues. Continues to what? Step number 4. Step number 4 of the customer lifecycle is the actual service, the service that's being rendered. So let's say you are a med spa or a dental clinic or a chiropractic practice or whatever you are. If you're a service-based industry, number 4, you have sold the service after they've come through the consultation. And this is really where they're going to continue liking you and coming back. So what do we do during step number 4 of the customer lifecycle, which is getting the service? Is we have to give them a good experience. We have to make sure that they really enjoy the service that they have maybe purchased from us. Even if it's a hair salon, nail salon, massage parlor, whatever it is, this is where they really feel confident that they made a good investment, and now this is where they receive that investment. So we have to shine here because the service has to have a good experience with good results. We have to perform. We've already sold them a product, we've sold them a service. Now we have to actually perform here. This is where the performance is key. So we have to give them a good experience, good results, and we have to perform as a team. Now, we have one more step of the customer lifecycle. Of course, we've done step number 1, which is having them find us with digital, website, SEO, social, referrals, word of mouth. If all of this has been done well and your marketing team is doing a good job, they go to step number 2. They actually pick up the phone and call you. And if our receptionist is doing a good job, they're welcoming, they're kind, they're inviting, they're informative, and they do a good job of booking a consult, we get to step number 3. In step number 3, we educate, we show off who we are, we're confident, we give them confidence to buy. That's where the money is made. But that's where the journey begins, because that's where the service is rendered. Step 4, service is rendered. We have to give a good experience with good results, and we have to perform at a high level. So they do what? They do step number 5. And what is step number 5? Step number 5 is re-engagement. We've worked so hard to get them through this cycle. The last thing you want them to do, or you don't want them to do, is not come back in. And if they've had a good experience, if they've had good results, and if you have performed to the highest ability, they're gonna be happy. These people are going to be super happy. And we have to really engage with that happiness. How? What do we do for re-engagement? We have to do simple things like follow up. If we follow up with the customer a day later, a week later, hey, how was your treatment? How was your service? How are those products that you took home? That is going to mean a lot. That means you care. That means you are kind. That means that you are confident. That means that you are giving them a good experience. All of these steps connect into one. So we have to follow up, get them into an email campaign or some sort of drip funnel. We have to make sure we're continuously talking to them, even at home, sending them emails, sending them the latest services, perhaps a coupon or two, whatever it is to keep them engaged. A lot of businesses will have events or open houses, inviting them back in, making sure they feel welcomed to come back. People aren't just gonna remember, hey, I should go back. We have to remind them. So very simple. This is easy for us to do, but we neglect it so much. We work so hard to get people in the door, get them to spend money, get them to do a service, and then we forget about people. No, we have to re-engage with them. It's so much cheaper to re-engage with the customer than to get a new one from the beginning. There's less risk by re-engaging these people rather than getting more people to go through the entire cycle and then falling somewhere in between. So if we re-engage properly, guess what happens? They go back to the website, they give you a call again, they come back again, they spend more money, they come back and do a service, and the life cycle continues. It is so important that we go through each of these customer life cycle points. Step number 1 with digital, step number 2 with your receptionist and making sure a phone call is converted to step number 3, which is coming in and learning, doing a consult, hopefully booking and making some money there. And then step 4, rendering the service, giving them an amazing experience so they leave happy. And if they leave happy, we got to keep them happy. And how do we do that? We re-engage with them, follow up, email them, host events. So that way you are retaining all of that effort, all of that investment you put into step number 1, you're retaining it again. Hence why step number 5 and step number 1 connect together. These are simple, easy things that we have to do with the customer lifecycle. Because if we don't do it, what happens? Well, let's go through that. If your digital presence is terrible, if your website isn't properly optimized, if your SEO isn't done well, if your social media isn't active, if your referrals are terrible, if your word of mouth is not good, what does not happen? Step number 2 doesn't happen. And if step number 2 doesn't happen, nothing else happens. Let's just say your digital is really well ran. Let's say you guys do a really good job of doing your digital presence, and then your receptionist is terrible. They pick up the phone, they don't do a good job. They're not welcoming, they're not kind, they're not inviting, they're not informative, and they don't book a consult. What happens? Well, it's more like what doesn't happen, which is step number 3. Step number 3 does not happen. If step number 3 doesn't happen, guess what doesn't get made? Money. Very simple. But let's just play devil's advocate and say that your receptionist is stellar. They're well trained and they're really executing their job at a high level. We get to the consultation. If they come in to learn about you, now you have them in front of you, but you're not informative. You're not educating them. You're not showing off who you are. You're not standing out. You're not confident. Well, if you're not confident during the consultation, they're not going to be confident to spend any money with you. And if they're not confident to spend money with you, guess what doesn't happen? No services are happening. No treatments are being rendered. No products are being sold. Now, once again, let's just pretend that that is still done very well and that you are actually having a great consultation conversion rate and the services are being rendered. Everyone's happy. The money's been made. Everyone's in. This is where a lot of people fail because they've got excited about making a sale and then everything post-sale falls apart. So this is where we have to shine. This is one of the most important steps out of all of them. They're all important, but this is one that people neglect so much because once they have had a good digital presence, once your business has had a good phone call, once your business has had a good consultation, when we are giving the service that we have sold, we have to give them a good experience. We have to give them good results and we have to perform because they have to leave happy. Because if they don't, guess what doesn't happen? They're never gonna re-engage with you. They're never gonna wanna come back. They don't want you to follow up. They don't care about your emails. They don't wanna come to your events. And all that hard work to get them to here falls apart because they don't want to re-engage. So you guys can now understand how each of these are dependent on each other. If one doesn't happen, the rest don't happen. As you guys analyze the amazing services, the amazing products that you guys are having in your businesses, also analyze what that customer lifecycle looks like. If one of these areas is broken, we have to fix it. If multiple areas are broken, you definitely have to fix it. So reevaluate your customer lifecycle. What's an easy way to do this? Secret shop yourself. Hire your friends, your family. Tell them to secret shop you so they can tell you where in the lifecycle this is broken. If you go to trusted people like your friends or family, then you can of course understand from them what the true experience is like because they're going to be candid. I love prank calling on my own businesses just to kind of get an idea of what one of these steps is lacking. Do that. You won't know unless you make the effort to want to know. We always want to say everything's perfect, but from a customer standpoint, this life cycle could be broken. And if it is, definitely take the step to fix it. If you guys enjoyed what you heard today, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys joining me today to learn about the 5 steps of the customer lifecycle. If you have questions or comments, comment below. I look forward to hearing what you have in your opinion about the customer lifecycle or what you guys are doing at home. Comment and hit subscribe. See you guys real soon.